The adapter is functioning as it should. I have a connection to the internet. I can actually do a ping, and we have 0 packet loss. So this adapter is up and running. It's functioning as it should. I'm actually getting a very good signal. First and foremost, I want to give a very special thanks to the people over at Alfa Network for sending me all of these adapters. Thank you. If you plan on purchasing this adapter or any of the other adapters that you see in my previous videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you could use the Amazon affiliate link, as using the link that I have provided in the description of the videos is a great way to not only get the product that you're interested in buying anyway, but also to support my channel and the work that I am doing. So please click on the link in the description if you're interested in buying one of these adapters. So I've already done previous videos on this adapter right here. This is the Alfa AWUS1900. I've done videos on this adapter right here. This is the Alfa AWUS036AC HM. And I also did a previous video on this adapter right here, which is the Alfa AWUS036ACM. In this video, we're taking a closer look at this adapter right here. This is the Alfa AWUS036AC. Now there's an important distinction I want to make between this adapter and this adapter over here. This one ends in ACM. And for me, that M signifies that this adapter over here is using a MediaTek chipset. Why is that important? Because for Linux users, adapters that are using a MediaTek chipset, they tend to work out of the box. Whereas an adapter such as this one right here, which is using a Realtek chipset, it does not work out of the box. That means for us as Linux users, we're going to have to install an additional set of drivers to get this adapter up and running. Making this adapter just a little more challenging is the fact that it is actually using a driver that is even less commonly used amongst the various Alfa adapters that are using Realtek chipsets. But don't worry, I'm going to show you where you can get the drivers and how you can install the drivers to get this adapter up and running on Linux. I'm going to be doing this on Ubuntu Linux, which is Debian based. So as I've done in many of my previous videos in doing things with these Alfa adapters, the first thing I'm going to do is start up dmessage. If I do a what is on dmessage, we get back that it is used to print or control the kernel ring buffer. So I'm going to run dmessage with sudo privileges, and I'm going to do a -w, and that will basically hold dmessage open and continue to print new messages to the screen as they come in. Now with dmessage running, I'm going to plug my Alfa AWUS036AC adapter into my machine. So the USB 3.0 dock is plugged into the back of my computer so that I know it's connected directly to the motherboard. And I'm going to plug the Alfa adapter into the USB dock. As I plug the adapter in, we can see that we have output on the screen. Notice that the light is not on our Alfa adapter, but we do have output on the screen. We are getting some information back. We immediately see that the manufacturer of the chipset is Realtek. Now I will do a Control-C, and since we know that the chipset is Realtek, I'm going to do an LS USB, and I'm going to pipe that into grep and grep for Realtek. And what we want to pay attention to in this output is the VID and the PID. That is the vendor ID and the product ID, and that's what you see right here. So the vendor ID is OBDA and the PID or product ID is 8812. That will become important here in a moment. We also see a reference to the driver that this adapter is looking for, which is RTL8812AU. Now I do not yet have this installed on my machine, and there's a couple different ways that I can verify that I do not have the driver installed on the machine. One of those is by running the command sudo dkms status, and that will list all of the various drivers installed on my machine that I utilized dkms to install. And we do have a driver that has been installed for a different set of Alfa adapters, and that is using the driver WWW14AU, but that does not apply to this adapter. I'm going to do a what is on airmon-ng, and we get back that it is a shell script designed to turn wireless cards into monitor mode. Even though we are not going to be able to put this adapter into monitor mode, I can still use airmon-ng to see if we're able to even detect the adapter. And if I run airmon-ng with sudo privileges, we do not get back any information on this adapter, even though it clearly is plugged in. Underneath this cap on the bottom, we have USB 3.0 connectivity. And an additional thing that this adapter comes with that I really like is this USB 3.0 dock. So we're not limited to just plugging the adapter into the side of a laptop, for example, but we actually have this dock. We can plug the adapter into the dock like this, and then plug the end of the cable into our laptop or the computer. It also helps just keep the adapter stable on different surfaces. Now, unfortunately, this is perhaps one of the only adapters that I have come across that, due to the special drivers that we are going to have to use, we are not going to be able to put this adapter into monitor mode. This adapter is not going to be useful for us for doing things such as packet injection. But when it comes to just simply accessing the various networks around you or doing the typical things that you would do with an external Wi-Fi adapter, not only does this adapter work, but it works very well. It actually has outperformed some of the other adapters that you see on this table, including the adapter over here. I'm going to head over to the main page for Alfa Network. That's going to be located at the URL of alfa.com.tw. I'm going to come up here to the top and I'm going to click on Support, and in the drop down menu I'm going to click on Documents. That'll take me to the Alfa Network docs. Once over here at the Alfa Network docs, I'm going to open up the product menu and I'm going to search for the Alfa adapter that I am using in this list of other products made by Alfa. The adapter that I am looking for in this example is going to be the AWUS036AC, and that is going to be located right down here. You see that we also have some of the other adapters that go by naming conventions very similar to this one. So I'm going to click on AWUS036AC, and that will take me to this page. Since we are looking for drivers to be used on Linux, I'm going to click on the link for Linux support page. And that takes me to this page right here. You see that we have some related products, and you also can see that we have the chipset VID and PID. So on the left, the vendor ID is 0BDA, and on the right, the product ID is 8812. Now, if you remember earlier in this video, I ran the ls USB command. So this is yet another way that you can verify that you are searching for the drivers for the correct adapter. It's easy to get the adapters confused, and you do have people out there that attempt to sell knockoff adapters. So it's always good just to double check and verify that you are dealing with the correct adapter and you are searching for the right set of drivers for that adapter. So if I go back to the command line and I run ls USB one more time and pipe that into grep, grepping for Realtek, you will see once again that we have that same exact vendor identification string and product identification string, and that it does match the information that we are getting back from the web page. So that is good. Some of the information is out of date on this page, and hopefully that will be updated soon, but nonetheless there is good information available to us on this page, and it will guide us in the right direction as to which set of drivers we need to install. So I'm doing this on Ubuntu, and we do have a set of commands underneath Ubuntu, but we also have another set of commands underneath a section titled Debian, and it is that particular set of commands that I have found to be more accurate to what needs to be done for this set of drivers, other than one major thing, and that is going to be that we are using a different repository and not the repository that is listed on this website currently. I hope that this does change, but if at the time of you watching this video, if you are seeing a repository that ends in the numbers 202.106.29, that is not the correct repo. That is a broken link, but it does give us some insight into where we can potentially find the correct set of drivers. If we go over to the main GitHub page for the same owner of this particular repo, we will see that he actually has numerous repositories. So I'm just going to click on repositories to show all 15 of the repositories available. And once again, you will notice that there is no repo that matches this link over here on the page. But if you look at some of the other repositories, there is this repo right here, and that ends in 202.108.20. And this is a set of Linux drivers for USB Wi-Fi adapters that are based on the RTL8812AU chipset, and that is what we are looking for. So I'll go ahead and click on that. It's going to take you to this GitHub repo. As of the recording of this video, it was updated a couple months ago, so it is receiving pretty good updates. And this is the set of drivers that we are looking for. This is the only set of drivers that I have been able to find that will allow me to get this adapter up and running on Linux. So I'm going to come up here to this green button that is titled code. I'm going to open that up and I'm going to copy the URL to the clipboard. We're going to go down to our terminal emulator and I am going to do a git clone of that repository. I'm going to make sure I have a few packages installed and up to date, so I'm going to do a sudo apt install on dkms, rfkill, git, and gcc. Now I can actually do a what is on all of those packages if you are not familiar with what each one of these is, and you'll get back a little bit more information about that. One of the main things is that we want to make sure that the version of GCC that we are currently using on our system is more or less the same as the version of GCC that was used to compile our operating system. So if I cat out /proc/version, you'll see in the output that GCC 12 was used to compile the kernel, and specifically version 12.3.0. Now if I do GCC and then I tab, we have multiple GCC packages on the system, but I'm looking specifically for GCC-12. So if I do GCC-12 version, you will see that I am using version 12.3.0. So the version of GCC 12 that I am using on my system does match the version that was used to compile the kernel. And that's probably one of your most important things. And if it's not correct, it could cause issues when you run this install script that we are about to run. So with all that out the way, we will cd into the newly created directory that is titled 8812AU-202.108.20. And if I do an ls, this is what the inside of this directory looks like. We have a README file that pretty much is identical to what you would be looking at if you were looking at that GitHub page. And from this point, we are going to run the install driver bash script. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the install driver script. I'm going to type the command sudo and then do a // followed by the name of the script, which is install-driver.sh. So we are brought to this question: do you want to edit the driver options file now? I'm going to do a Y for yes and hit enter. And at this point, we can make any important changes to the driver options for this Alfa adapter. And there are a couple things that are worth taking a look at. One of those is going to be the log options. So a great way of getting more information about your adapter and troubleshooting it would be to increase the verbosity of the logging. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to increase it from the default level to 5 for debug, and I'll do that by simply deleting the pound symbol at the beginning of the line. And the next thing that I'm going to do is going to have to do with the LED options. I'm going to do number 2 because I want the blue light to always be on as opposed to blinking. So I'll go ahead and delete the pound sign in front of that line. And that's probably going to be it for the driver options. So I'll do a Control X followed by a Y to save and enter. Okay, so we are brought to another question. It says, do you want to apply the new options by rebooting now? Now this is definitely recommended, but since I am recording the video, I'm going to do an N for no because I don't want to disrupt the recording of the video. But if you are following along with this, you should definitely reboot at this point. So I'll go ahead and do an N for no and hit enter. And that's it.
Congratulations.
So from this point, the appropriate drivers should be installed on our system. There's a couple different things that we can do to verify this. One of those is going to be to rerun that command that we ran earlier, which is going to be a DKMS status. And now we do get back an extra line of output here. We can see that this line right here was not there before. So it definitely looks like the driver was installed correctly. So I'm going to start up dmessage once again, and I'm going to unplug the adapter and plug it back in. And already we do see some good indications in the output that lead me to believe that the driver is in use. The correct driver is in use for the adapter. We can see in the output of dmessage a reference being made to the RTL8812AU driver. So let's go ahead and do a Control C. So now that I have plugged the adapter back in and we see some promising output from dmessage, I'm going to run the airmon-ng command again. And now you do see that we get back some information from running this command that pertains to the Alfa adapter. We did not see this information before. So this is me just showing you what you're kind of hoping to see if you are following along with this. Even though we're not using airmon-ng to put the adapter into monitor mode, it's still useful for certain things, and this is one of those. So I'm seeing very good signs. You'll notice that we do not see the blue light lighting up on the adapter yet, but that's because we haven't actually connected it to an access point. So if I run iwconfig, I do now have the interface showing up. I'll go ahead and copy the name of the interface, and very quickly we are going to change the MAC address. So I'll run sudo MAC changer with a -r to randomize the MAC address and paste in the name of that interface. And if I run nmcli general, we see that the Wi-Fi is disabled. So let me go ahead and enable the Wi-Fi real quick by running nmcli radio Wi-Fi on. Now if I rerun nmcli general, we see that everything is enabled. And now as you can see, we have a blue light. It is still kind of blinking a little bit as opposed to that solid blue that I was looking for, but remember I made changes to that driver options file, but I did not do a reboot. So we might not get a solid blue line until after the reboot, but nonetheless, the adapter is functioning as it should. I have a connection to the internet. I can actually do a ping, and we are sending out ICMP requests, and all is well. And we have 0 packet loss. So this adapter is up and running. It's functioning as it should. I'm actually getting a very good signal. In fact, we can go ahead and run Wavemon to get a little bit more information back on the performance. So I'll run iwconfig once more and copy the name of the interface. And then I'll run the command sudo Wavemon with a -i and specify the interface and hit enter. And what we see in this output, amongst other things, is we get back the link quality, which is 81% or 57 out of 70, which is very good. And we get a signal level of -53 dBm, which is also pretty good. I'll go ahead and do a Control-C on that. If for some reason you want to remove the driver, there is another bash script located in the same directory. It's called remove driver. And if at some point you want to edit your driver options file, there is another bash script that will allow you to do that, and that is called editoptions.sh. And finally, another bash script I would like to reference is the save-log.sh script, and that is going to be used to save a log file. In order to run this script and actually save a log file, you're going to want to make sure that you increase the verbosity of your logs in that driver options file. And this could be a great tool for you to use if you're trying to troubleshoot the adapter or just debug it. And with that being said, that's going to be it. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, like the videos, and as always,
stay fresh.
We'll see you in the next one. Oops. And add